Hi besties, welcome to a series of learning. Nna ka lebitso ke nna ke itumetse Mahafa, nna ngwanana wa Mosotho ya jang pele. I just felt like eating that this weekend just to, spice things up. But anyway, welcome to another series of learning. And what I have learned, rather, or what I'm going to talk about, I also need to hear it one more time, right? And so I was listening to a sermon. I almost said a series. I was listening to a sermon this morning by Dr. Miles Monroe. And if you know me, you know that I am obsessed with Dr. Miles Monroe. Of course, if you know me now, not if you know me. Anyway, so I was listening to a sermon and he was talking about problem solving and experiences, right? And he was just saying that most of the time, 90% of the time, as humans, when we are facing problems, we want to pray our problems away, right? Which he did not lie. Like for me, this last week was one of the hardest weeks I've ever had in 2024. How long has it been since 2024? Oh my god. But my point is, last week was one of the hardest weeks I've ever had in 2024, right? And obviously, I was just like, God, you said you love me. Why am I facing this problem? Please take this problem away. Solve this problem. I don't want to, And that's what we do. Like, it's our human nature to pray for problems to go away. Like, it's just who we are, how we are. And so he was talking about that this morning, and he was like, imagine if David prayed Goliath away. Like, imagine if he said to God, when he was supposed to go face Goliath, imagine if he said, God, I don't want to face Goliath. You know what? Just take Goliath, you and Goliath, take Goliath and go give him someone else. Because I don't want Goliath to be my problem. Do you think that we would have the same respect that we have for David if he did that? I don't think so, bestie. So whatever Goliath you are facing right now in your life, embrace it, confront it, face it, deal with it, and because you are never going to be remembered for the things that you have avoided, bestie. Like, we are not going to remember you for the things that you have avoided, but we are going to remember you for the things that you have survived, for the solutions that you have provided to problems. Like, if you think of anyone that comes to your mind who is a millionaire, or even if it's not millions, but like who is doing well in their lives, who is and they own a business, do you think that if they didn't have those things, they would be impactful? Like, they would have impacted our lives the way that they have, not the way that you think of them? And I'm gonna make an example with my personal favorite human being, which is Jackie Pamotsi, right? I like Jackie because I found out last week that not even last week, last year, when she was posting on her stories on Insta, that she's actually from Gacha Snack in Lesotho, and that is where I'm from. And I was just like, you and I, we are gonna be besties. She doesn't know me yet, but if you've read her book Bear, if you read the book Bear, you would. When I was reading that book, I was like, no human being should have went through the things that she went through. She didn't deserve those things, which is true. She didn't deserve those things. But if she didn't go through those things that she went through, bestie, do you think that she would have been able to write that book today? Like, do you think that she would have been able to add so much value if she didn't go through the things that she went through? I don't think so. I don't think so. And it was at that moment when Dr. Miles was saying these things that I had an awakening. Like, it was as if something in me said, stop it. Stop praying for your problems away. You need these experiences so that in the future you can be able to motivate or to advise someone that is going to be walking the same journey that you have walked, right? Everything that you've been through, you needed to go through it, right? And I know there are people that will say, um, anyway, so I know that there are people that will say, oh, why am I going through this? Oh God, I don't deserve this. Why should I? Hello, child of God. Who should go through those things? You should. Stop wishing that the problems that you have should be given to someone else because you don't deserve the problems. Nobody deserves problems. Nobody should, you know? Anyway, so yeah, and he was also talking about solution and adding value. And he was just saying that, bestie, the way that my generation, and I'm gonna say my generation, I'm gonna include myself because I live within the society, I live within the generation. We are so entitled. Like, my generation is so entitled. Like, we feel like the world owes us something, our parents owe us something, the government owes us something. And I'm sorry to bust your bubble, but child of God, nobody owes you anything. In fact, no, like Bonang said, nobody owes you anything. Not even your mother, not even your parent owes you anything. So you can all walk around all you want with that entitlement mentality. I'm telling you, if you don't get out of it, you will find yourself in the same place next year, next year, until you learn that nobody owes me anything. I should be the one who is making things happen for myself. Until you have that mentality, child, you can just forget about change. But anyway, I just came here to say that everybody was born with something within them. You were born to be impactful. You were born to solve a problem. It doesn't have to be as big as Einstein or Bill Gates, or Dr. Miles Monroe. But you were born to be impactful. You were born to impact the world. You were born to add value, right? And I know that you might be having a 9 to 5, and that's okay because um we have bills to pay, right? It's okay. After work, you sit down and you sit within yourself and you ask God, what is it that you brought me here to do? Because I am pretty sure that you did not bring me here on earth to pay bills, to work, to eat and die. Because sometimes we work so hard for the houses, for the cars, we are only driving them to work. You've never driven your car to go have fun or have a road trip. You've never hosted a bride at your house, but you've worked, so you are paying thousands and thousands of rands every month for bond, for electricity, for water, but you've never enjoyed yourself in your house because that's what you're working for. And if you don't sit down and ask God right now to say, what is my purpose? What did you bring me here on earth to do? You're going to find yourself living like that until you die, working, eating, going to work, and repeat. And I don't think that's a fulfilling life. That's why we have a lot of people who are depressed, who have anxiety, we are always on edge because you're thinking, I'm depending on that job. Oh my gosh, if they lay me off, I'm finished, And I remember last year, November, where I used to work, we got emails that December is our last month because the company is not making money. I remember there were people in there who were not eating during lunch because they were stressing about next year, about this year. This year had not yet happened, but they were really stressing about it. And I don't think that's how life should be, So we should really sit down with ourselves and find our purpose and find what is it that God has brought us here to do, because I'm pretty sure that God brought us here to live, to see his creation, to travel the world and to explore. God wants us to see what he did when he created earth, I believe. And let's keep each other on check, right? Like, let's this year, whatever plan you've made, the goals that you've written, every week, whether Monday or Sunday, you go through your goals, your vision board, you look at it and you ask yourself, have I done the things that I said I'm gonna do this year? If the answer is yes, shout out to you and keep it up. If the answer is no, bestie, you need to change, because if you don't change, you are by the time it's really happy new year 2025 and you look at your life, you're gonna find yourself in the same position that you were the previous year, and it's not nice. I know that for the part, I'm speaking from experience. From the for the past 5-6 years that I've known how to set goals, I've known what goals were, I've known what, what his goal setting was. Is it to have a vision board? I've done that, but every year I'm getting the same results. You know what? And it's not good results. It has never been good results. You know what? Because every year I start the year, I start going with the flow. I don't hold myself accountable. I don't check up on myself. I don't sit down and say, am I doing something that's bringing me closer to my dreams? I don't really pay attention. I'm just living like there is no tomorrow, you know? And I get depressed when I see other people growing, when I see people, living their lives and having girl trips and having, personal trips. And I'm like, but why can't I? And I'm thinking, but you haven't been doing the things that you were supposed to do for you to get there. So why do you think you should be going there? So I wish this for everybody. I wish for everybody in 2024 to keep yourself in check, to see if you're still on track, right? To see if you're still doing the things that you said you were going to do in 2024. Besties, we are in the second week of 2024, so there's still time. There's no pressure from me. You shouldn't pressurize yourself. You should set the goals that you want to do, and you should break them down in simple steps. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It could just be like a tiny thing where you're like, okay, cool, this year I just want to drink more water, or want to read a book. It could just be a small thing. It doesn't have to be buying a house or buying a car, because it's a human nature. If you don't see yourself buying a car or buying a house, you feel like you didn't work. We don't appreciate the small things, like, the year's ending, you're still healthy, you're still well. We don't consider those things as blessings. Yeah, but yeah, that's all I wanted to say. For me, I hope that you are in your single era and you're working on yourself.